Dear colleagues and participants of the United Nations RIO+20 Conference and the third global meeting of the Mountain Partnership, on behalf of Utah Valley University, it is my sincere pleasure to greet you and extend my best wishes for your success. You are examining issues vital to our modern world: environmental concerns, poverty, unemployment, and many others. Hopefully you will define strategies and priorities for the international community in dealing with the urgent challenges of our global community. Utah Valley University has contributed to the United Nations Agenda on Sustainable Mountain Development since 2006. After hosting the Women of the Mountains Conference in 2007 and again in 2011, UVU became the first institution of North America to actively involve the entire Rocky Mountain region in the promotion of these initiatives. We are eager to continue our efforts and hope that our delegation at these conferences and our co-hosting of the third Women of the Mountain Conferences in Puno, Peru in June 2012 will further demonstrate our commitment as a proactive partner in the promotion of both gender and sustainable mountain agendas in the Rocky Mountains and beyond. I wish you success in achieving your noble goals.
Dear organizers and participants of the United Nations RIO+20 Conference on Development and the third global meeting of the Mountain Partnership members, it is my true pleasure to greet you all on behalf of the government and people of the Mountain Kyrgyzstan. Our nation actively contributes to the United Nations agenda and sustainable mountain development in particular. We hosted Bishkek Global Mountain Summit as a highlight of the International Mountain Year celebration declared by the United Nations in 2002. We are also proud to be partners with mountain communities from the Rocky Mountains and Utah in particular. We co-hosted with Utah Valley University two International Women of the Mountain Conference in 2007 and 2011, which highlighted a regional approach among mountain communities from Rocky Mountain and Central Asia in promoting agenda of sustainable mountain development. We are glad that Utah Valley University and International University of Kyrgyzstan now co-host the third International Conference Women of the Mountains in Puno, Peru. As a follow-up to the RIO+20 UN Conference, we co-host with Utah Valley University International Conference, Conflict and Peace in the Mountains. So we have a lot of work to do together in order to promote sustainable way of life for global communities and mountain people in particular. Wish you success with achieving of all your noble goals. Sincerely, Asılbek Aydarali. Thank you.
Dear organizers and participants of the United Nations RIO+20 Conference on Development and the third global meeting of the Mountain Partnership members. On behalf of the Andrei Sakharov Foundation, I would like to congratulate you on taking part at this gathering, which is an important step for the global development. The Sakharov Foundation is actively involved in promoting democracy and human rights among the nations of the former Soviet Union. During the last 6 years, we were glad to contribute to the United Nations on sustainable mountain development, particularly as it relates to the mountain nations of the former Soviet Union, such as Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, and Georgia, with which we have long-standing ties, and to the mountainous regions of Russia. We were glad to participate in two Women of the Mountains international conferences, which were hosted by Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah in 2007 and 2011. Until her death last year, my mother, Elena Bonner, served as the honorary chairperson of the Women of the Mountains conferences and followed their work with great interest. We will continue to be involved in those activities because they represent important initiatives in promoting a respect to human dignity, empowerment of the mountain families, and an improvement in their living conditions based on sustainable and responsible development. I wish you success in achieving all the goals of the conferences. Thank you.
About 10 years ago, I was asked to head up a delegation as from the mountain states. Utah is a mountain state. We have very tall mountains. We have snow in the mountains even in the summer. This is an area that has very similar to areas of the rest of the world, the former areas of the Soviet Republic and Central Asia, areas in South America such as Peru. These areas have very similar issues, being interior issues without seaports, without access to the coast. Some of the most memorable situation I've had is when I've been in some of these other areas. I remember, for example, meeting with the speaker of Kyrgyzstan and having a chance to really exchange over this period of several days some of the same issues as we've had. In Tajikistan, I had a Bushkasi relationship, which meant that I have a horse there in Tajikistan that was given to me as a delegation member there. That's a great event. One of my most memorable occasions was meeting with the Minister of Health of Tajikistan. This was a minister that didn't really want to meet with us. The reason was we wanted to allow American doctors to come into Tajikistan to be able to help them with the births of young babies, those babies that were premature. They had a very high death rate of premature babies, and they did not want to have outsiders coming in. We finally got a chance on the last day we were there of a weeks-long visit with various different officials. We finally got a chance to meet with them. And after the meeting, he finally said, "We will allow your doctors in." We realized that the partnership between Utah and another mountain country really was paying benefits. Today, doctors are allowed in there, and not only allowed there, they are actively functioning there in Tajikistan. Partnerships are developed over time. They're not just made by one trip. They're not just made by one event. They are made by having the ability to continue a partnership over long term. I'll continue to host people as they come here to see Utah. I'll continue to travel to other parts of the world to present the partnerships that Utah can offer to other parts of the world, to other mountain nations. When I was president of the Senate, I took the majority leader of the state of Montana, who is another mountain area, mountainous region. We took them on trips together. Those kinds of relationships with other mountain states are going to be the types of situations we can have with other mountain regions of the world. Those types of continual partnerships with our state and with other states will be what is going to lead to successful outcomes.
For many years, UVU has been involved in the Mountain Partnership in connection with a variety of other organizations and universities, and we're delighted to be part of the next phase of this effort in Peru and with the RIO+20 Conference. We've been heavily involved in international activities for several years, more specifically in connection to the UN, and we're very anxious to give our faculty and students an opportunity to gain the experience necessary in real-world diplomacy and real-world problem solving so that they can have the experience necessary to shape and form them into competent global citizens. My office handles the engaged learning programs on campus. So UVU is one of 131 universities which has been selected as a Carnegie Community Engaged University. And our role is to be connected not only with our local geographic community, but with disciplinary communities, national communities, and more importantly for this project, international communities. And so one of the core values of the institution is global competency, where all of our students are required to be involved in some aspect of international studies, intercultural work, And these efforts are a unique way for us to be involved in it. So in general terms, the office supports students applying their classroom experience to real-world problem solving. And our office supports internships, study abroad, service learning, and other activities that will give the students a holistic view of their education and give them some leverage as they graduate and move on to the next phase of their lives. We have a variety of students on campus who are interested in international diplomacy issues, and we have some very fine faculty who have been teaching classes in international relations and related areas. We also have a great resource in Dr. Rusty Butler, who is the Associate Vice President for International Affairs and Diplomacy, whose job it is to help bring diplomats and other world leaders to campus to give our students interaction with them. But he also is involved in facilitating these kinds of opportunities for our students to go out into the world and apply some of the things they're learning in the classroom to a real world setting. And these two conferences are ideal opportunities for our students to see diplomacy in action and to work on a specific project that not only relates to our local region, but to the international community as well. And so it's a remarkable connection between Utah County, which is where UVU is located, and global partnerships, which is what the Mountain Partnership is, and something that not only our university, but Orem City and other communities in our region have had the pleasure of being involved in. And our job here in our office is to give as many students as possible the opportunity to apply their learning in the classroom to real-world environments, whether it be in their professional lives or as citizens or as lifelong learners. And so my office handles internships, our service learning programs, study abroad, international internships, and in this case, international affairs and diplomacy, which is really focused on giving students an opportunity to be involved in diplomatic efforts that are facilitated through our office in cooperation with Dr. Rusty Butler and his efforts in our University Relations Division. And to give students these kinds of opportunities is unique because they are able to see diplomacy in action and are able to watch diplomacy unfold in projects that have application not only here in our local community, but on a regional, international, and national basis. So we're excited to be part of that.
My wife, Danielle, is the mother of 7 children and 36 grandchildren, and she has always been very keenly interested in women's issues, particularly in developing nations of Central Asia. My wife has terminal breast cancer, and which has made her very sensitive to women's health issues in particular, and children's issues. Her fight with cancer is probably the most memorable event in my life, and through the Women of the Mountains conferences, she has fought for women's literacy, education, equality, and good health care for women and children, especially women in mountainous developing nations. Danielle has very much enjoyed her tenure as honorary consul for Kyrgyzstan in the state of Utah, and she is very saddened that she will not be able to see that great nation again. She has become the mother to many Kyrgyz students who have come to Utah to study, and with the hope that they would return to the country and bless the lives of the people there. She has chaired 2 Women of the Mountain conferences, which has brought well over 100 key women leaders from over 20 nations. And because of the success of those conferences, the Sustainable Mountain Agenda is more front and center with the United Nations now. We will continue our development of the work with the Mountain Partnership and with the United Nations, especially as it relates to sustainable development of women's and children's issues. It seems that women and children are those who are the most vulnerable to crime, environmental degradation, war, poverty, and we have befriended many United Nations ambassadors that we have brought here to Utah as our guests, who have witnessed our outreach and our compassion in dealing with these issues. Most recently, these have included Iraq, Afghanistan, the Dominican Republic, Romania, Hungary, Albania, but also Russia, the Czech Republic, Guatemala, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and other Central Asian nations. Also, we promote legislative exchanges between Utah and the Utah State Senate and the parliaments of many of these countries to promote sustainable agenda.
You come up over that rise and you see this beautiful little campus, and the view from the campus is extraordinary.
I love the field station. I think it's probably an undiscovered gem.
It was amazing. It was so nice.
It's been really good. I mean, it's kind of like having like a national park to yourself here.
The surroundings are so gorgeous. The landscape is really spectacular.
When I think about good experiences, it's that student interaction of, wow, this is life unplugged, and actually seeing things as you're learning them and doing things as you're learning them. Those have been the highlights.
Well, I'd like to see UVU expand and solidify its reputation as a major player on the international scene in the area of sustainable mountain development. One of our core themes as an institution is inclusion, and another core theme is engaged learning. And I think these sustainable mountain development projects are ideal to fulfill those core themes. Also, our institutional mission statement refers to serving as stewards of a globally interdependent community, and I think working with disadvantaged populations the way these programs do is an ideal fit for that part of our mission. Actually, I think we're positioned pretty effectively right now. I think there is a danger in being spread too thin in this regard. We're entering a year in which our global spotlight is Eurasia, and it would make sense to continue to focus on that region. We have a strong cadre of faculty with expertise in that area. Another focus could certainly be South America, which is a bit closer to home, and we have several faculty members with strong interests in Peru and Bolivia, for example.
Our expectation is that our students and our faculty will have a great experience, first and foremost. What an opportunity it is to travel to RIO+20, to participate in that, and also to continue the efforts of the Sustainable Mountain Development Project that we've been doing for years. So first and foremost, it's that the faculty and students will have a good experience. They'll be able to bring that experience back to UVU and to share that. More importantly, though, for a long-term issue, is that we hope to be able to develop this program even further. We hope that it's through this participation, through the efforts that we're putting forth this summer, that we'll be able to continue to host conferences here at UVU, and most importantly, to develop the opportunities for our students to be involved in sustainable issues, to develop the skill sets that are necessary to work in the sustainable environment, if that's what they desire, and ultimately to make the changes that they would like to make as a result of the experiences that we give them here at UVU. Our future plans really revolve around dedicated funding. None of these things, I wish good ideas funded themselves. If that were the case, then everything would be great in the world, but they don't. And so we compete in an environment of limited funds. And so our goals right now are to really to develop a stable base of funding for this so that UVU can become a consistent partner throughout the Mountain West with the other states that we're involved in and communities, with the UN and with other countries as well, and educational institutions, and then be able to fund conferences here at UVU that bring in experts from across the globe, but then just as importantly to be able to send our people out to conferences as well in other places. So we would hope that this could become an ongoing annual kind of a thing. One year we host a conference here at UVU, or every other year, something every couple of years, and then in those off years that our students and our faculty are out participating as well. The ideas are all there, the people are all there, the interest is all there, but again, it's trying to make sure that the funding is appropriate to be able to allow for the participation that we desire and the level of activity that would be most beneficial not only for students but also for faculty and the general institution as well.
Dear organizers and guests of the United Nations Conference in Brazil, greetings to you from the Keller family in Orem, Utah. We have 10 children and 26 grandchildren, and we live in the tops of the Rocky Mountains. Our family loves to perform together and to express through music our passion for nature, for the mountains, for their protection as a place for the livelihood of our people, and for the future of our families and children. We also love to travel, to share our music and songs with everyone, to teach them about our mountain way of life. We were glad to be involved with the Utah Valley University in many activities promoting our mountain culture and heritage, including Women of the Mountains conferences and the celebrations of International Mountain Days declared by the United Nations. We will be glad to continue doing the same, to promote, through our music and song, the need for all people who live in the mountains to unite efforts providing for a better future for our children and families. We sincerely wish you success in your endeavors. We would now like to share with you some of our own mountain music, folk music that we play as a family, and we hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Song I ever did sing is boil them cabbage down. Slice it, dice it, chop it, spice it, pick it from the ground. Boil them cabbage down, boys, boil them cabbage down. Boil them cabbage down, boys, boil them cabbage down. The only song I ever did sing is boil them cabbage down. Slice it, dice it, chop it, spice it, pick it from the ground. Boil them cabbage down, boys, boil them cabbage down.
Did you ever wonder about the riddle? What kind of spirit lives in the fiddle? Is that old Satan right there a-waiting? Or are you tuned with the angel band? So back up and push, back up and push, back off from sin, the glory in. You can't go wrong singing this song. Back up and push away. let the devil play on your senses. Prepare to suffer the consequences. The fullest measure of worldly pleasure will only drive you to the roaring fire. So back up and push, back up and push, back up from sin. The glory in you can't go wrong singing this song. Back up and push away. Back up and push, back up and push, back up from sin. The glory in you can't go wrong singing the song. Back up and push away. Back up and push away. There's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow skies are blue, and dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you away, you rolling river. Shenandoah, I long to hear you away. I'm bound away across the way.